side, you stuck from Genesis to Malachi.
That's right.
You stuck. And then you ain't going to be able to even show what Old Testament king fits these prophecies. You ain't going to be able to show because don't none of them add up. And the greatest David was, he slipped. As great as Josiah was, he still fell short.
That's right.
And these were some of the righteous men in the long list of wicked kings that we had. There are plenty of, most of the kings of Israel were very wicked.
That's
right.
That's right.
Very wicked. You only got a few that you can somewhat say, okay, he was, he was stand-up brother. He tripped right there and there, but yeah, he was cool, you know what I'm saying? Right? But don't none of them, all of them fall short in the balances when it comes to Jesus of Nazareth. Crucified King of the Jews. All of them fall short. All of them. To the point to where David called him Lord.
That's right.
Stop that, man. Let's get this, brother. Hebrews 11.
Hebrews 11:1. Now faith is substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Verse 2. For by in the elders obtained a good report.
You know what? My bad, brother. Hebrews chapter 1. My bad. Went to the wrong spot, brother. Forget it. Misfired now. Hebrews chapter 1, 1 through 3. We talking about him sitting on the right hand of the Father.
That's right.
Hebrews 1, 1 through 3. Read 1 through 4. My bad, y'all. Hebrews 1. Chapter 1. Verse 1 through 4. Written to the Hebrews. You ever want to understand Paul's writings and what law he talking about you not under? You need to read the book of Hebrews. Study it up and down. And he's going to write into it and show you what he's saying. He ain't telling you ain't got to keep the commandments no more. It's another fallacy. You ain't got to keep the commandments to be good. Under faith, under grace. He tell you right, Paul himself in Romans, because we under grace, do we continue in sin? God forbid. God forbid. Sin is what? Transgression of the law. Somebody lying. What's going on? Is he double talking or are we not understanding what he's saying? Do we get rid of the law because of faith? God forbid we establish the law. That's Romans 3 and 31. What are we saying? See, you want to understand what he's saying, you got to eat and sleep that book of Hebrews.
That's right.
And then to open up, oh, that's what he's saying. Different priesthood. Let's get this, brother. Hebrews 1.
Hebrews 1. God, who had sundry times and in divers manners spake in times past unto the fathers by the prophets.
Come on.
Verse 2. Had in these days, in these last days spoken unto us by his Son, who hath appointed her of all things.
Heir of all things. Read it again, brother. Verse 2.
Verse 2 again. Yeah. Had in these last days spoken unto us by his Son, whom he hath appointed her heirs of all things, by whom also he made the worlds.
So the Most High made the worlds in Christ return.
Hold down, y'all.
By whom also he made the worlds. So when you go back to Genesis 1 and 26 and it says, let us make man in our image, you know who the Father was talking to.
That's right.
Wow. Wow. Really? That's why when he said, look, man, I was before Abraham, they tried to stop him.
That's right.
Over their head, they couldn't catch him. They went, what's this man's boy? He's 50 years old. What is he talking about? We know his daddy and his mama. What is he talking about? By whom also he made the worlds. So he made his Son and gave his Son orders to make everything you see, visible and invisible. Come on, bro.
You said 50 years old.
Yeah, I'm talking about that's what they were saying. 50 years old.
Right.
Come on, brother.
Verse 3.
Yeah.
Whose being the brightness of his glory and the express image of his person.
See that he looked just like the Father on high.
That's right.
He's the express image of the Most High's person. That's why when Philip said, well, show us the Father, he said, you're looking at him.
Right.
You see me, you see him.
Right.
He's the express image of his Father. That boy looked just like his dad. Right. You said that boy looked just like his dad. Yeah. Express image of his person. Come on.
And upholding all things by the word of his power. When he had by himself purged our sins, sat down on the right hand of the majesty on high.
See, that's talking about the Son of God.
That's right.
Sat down on the right hand of the majesty on high. David said the same thing in Psalms 110. The Lord said unto my Lord, sit at my right hand until I make your enemies your footstool.
Right, Daniel chapter 7, verse 7 through 12 say the same thing. They took Christ and brought him to the Most High and on the right hand. When we read the Mount of Olives, when what we call a so-called UFO picked him up, the same way. And they brought him unto the throne, the same way he came. A star dropped him off. Understand these things. They saw the star, they tracked it to Jerusalem. So it wasn't that they walked unto it, the star was moving, they told them this is where the birth at. This is how they knew. They followed it to Bethlehem, not to Oklahoma. Or that would be recorded.
It have to be. He said, believe him in the scripture. He got one more verse to come to. Go ahead.
Verse 4. Being made so much better than the angels.
Being made better than who?
Being made so much better than the angels.
Come on, brother.
As he had by inheritance obtained a more excellent name than they. Excellent name than they.
Go ahead, Yahweh.
Second witness said the first of the Colossians chapter 1, verse 12.
Yes, sir.
It says, give thanks unto the Father, which have made us meet to be partakers of the inheritance of the saints in light, who has delivered us from the powers of darkness and has translated us into the kingdom of his dear Son.
His dear Son. Now, it's the kingdom of heaven was down in Miami, Florida, Dade County, called the kingdom of Yahweh. He said read. He going down to what, 17, 18, something like that? Come on, brother.
Verse 14. In whom we have redemption through his blood.
So his blood was shed. Was Yahweh been Yahweh blood shed? He died of prostate cancer. He wasn't crucified. It's not making sense. Come on, brother.
Even the forgiveness of sin, who is the image of the invisible God.
There God. We just read, he's the express image of the Almighty on high.
That's right.
Second witness, Colossians 1. He's the image of the invisible God. Because God is a spirit. Come on, brother.
The firstborn of every creature.
So he's the firstborn of every creature. He's the first creation of his Father. He brought a son forth.
That's right.
And then gave them orders to make everything. That's how it went down. That's why it says, let us make man in our image. You said, hey, who was God talking to? Without the proper precept, you never pull it together.
That's right.
About Christ. You're left to your imagination. You feel me? You say, oh, well, that might have been Michael and Gabriel. That might have been, you know.
Or you say the crucifying was going through the court system, being ridiculed, but Christ did that too and went to the cross. So it's still, the cross is there. Even after the ridicule, you still got to have the nails driven through your hands and through your feet. You can't, what they say, metaphor that out or metaphor that away. It's impossible to metaphor it away.
Yeah, because even according to the records, man, Christ was put to death. Probably have young Yahweh guy, young Judah Reed that had been done. And then the annals of imperial Rome. Even according to the records of the Romans, Christ was put to death under Pontius Pilate. Put to death, not dying of prostate cancer. Put to death. Come on, brother.
For by him were all things created, that are in heaven and that are in earth, visible and invisible.
See, that's cold right there. Visible, what you can see and what you can't see.
That's right.
Come on, brother.
Whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers, all things were created by him and for him.
Oh.
And he is before all things, and by him all things coincide.
Consist.
And he
Consist.
consists. And he is the head of the body, the church, who is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead.
See that?
That is all, that all things he might have the permission.
Preeminence.
Preeminence.
So in all things he'll be ruled. Preeminence. And it goes back before he even was birthed.
That's right.
Right? So that's, hey, if you line Mitchell can fit in the shoes, you need to work.
That's right.
Okay. But he can't.
Look like Silver and Mufasa, right?
All right, let's get this. Isaiah 53. Isaiah 53. Brother Dan, you got something? Scoop up.
Yeah, I was just going to comment on that Genesis 1 when it said, let us make man in our own image to show that Christ was before the angels.
All right, we're going to Isaiah 53 next, another prophecy about the Messiah, Isaiah 53, 1 through 9.
Isaiah chapter 53. Y'all understand these things? We'll leave the 99 and go get the 1.
Yeah.
So this ain't nothing personal. With Israel, what we are is doctrine killers. So if this doctrine is not of Christ that hit this earth, then it is what it is. It ain't no respect of person. It ain't no to look at nobody like you know wrong path. All of us know wrong path because I come out of the Baptist church.
Yeah.
So the whole deal is, do we go get that 1 and leave the 99? Yeah, we will.
Yes, we will.
But we want to see if we wrong, scripturally, just like we doing it, do the same exact thing.
That's right.
Do the same exact thing with the right.
Which you should have no problem with doing.
But everybody that came before writing their own books. Ben Yahweh got his. Ulam Mitchell got his books. David Koresh had his books. Jim Jones had his books. All of them have to create another book. Where do you think the Quran came from?
Right.
Another book. This say Alpha and Omega. Ain't no other books.
The beginning and the end. He started it, he gonna end it. Let's get
Isaiah chapter 53, verse 1. Who hath believed our report? And to whom is the arm of the Lord revealed? For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant, and as a root out of dry ground.
That's major right there. Anything growing out of a dry ground is miraculous. See that? Because it takes water and nutrients for anything to grow out of ground.
That's right.
Now, if you write down Ephesians 5 and 26, water is symbolic for the word.
That's right.
So we're saying whoever this is will be coming at a time with no word or no water.